here saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live. Somebody, let's go.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Pascal Show. Good evening, everybody. I hope you're all enjoying your Thursday, enjoying it, making it wonderful and all gooey inside, because we all have some crazy stuff that's been going on as of recently. We have talked about this many times, okay? Like I said, if you're not reading the title, I'm so sorry. I'll do it for you right now. We got some serious stuff going on. Obviously, there's some stories about several 911 calls coming straight from the Brian Laundrie's house, before he went out on the lam. So we got some stuff we got to talk about. But, you know, of course, before we go into all this stuff, before we go into the 911 phone calls or go into the description, because we don't have the recordings as of yet, but we are going to be talking about this. There's another piece that we do need to talk about. We have definitely got to talk about this swamp and where he could possibly be. All right, Brian Laundrie. If you didn't know, Dog the Bounty Hunter is hot on his trail. Allegedly, he says he got some ish. He's running down, trying to find out where the hell Brian Laundrie is. Is he in some random island? Is he in the swamp? Inquiring minds would like to know. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to turn this down a little bit because I need to say this really quick. Okay? Let me say this real quick, y'all. And good morning. Or good evening, sorry. Wow, good morning. Good evening to all you guys. I appreciate every last one of y'all for being here. Of course, I got to do this. You know how it is. I'm so sorry, but I got to. Okay, please hit that like button down below. All right, we are working hard out here in these streets. All right, to give you the information that you need. And for those of y'all who are starting to tune in and watch the show for the very first time ever, please hit that subscribe button. Destroy it, crush it, nuke it, bomb it, whatever you want to do. Just hit that subscribe button. Make sure you are subscribed to this channel. We are doing everything we can to give you guys updates and all the things that are going on. But I also have, which I'm very excited about, but real quick, one more time, hit that subscribe button. One thing I'm very excited about right now, you might be like, what are you excited about, Pascal? I got somebody very special coming on to the show. This man's an expert, all right? This man knows about the terrain, knows about swamp, knows about how a man or person could survive in the swamp, how one could be successful in the survival of the swamp. Also, hey, if one could be successful living on a remote island successfully for as long as Brian Laundrie has been out for. So, before we jump into all that, and before I introduce my guest, okay, we got to go into a little bit. There's a video I showed a little bit ago of a guy. Actually, you know what? Let me take that back. I take that back. I'm getting ahead of myself because I'm very excited about this, because this is a good friend. This man's very, very well versed in the wilderness world with wildlife, with nature and all that. So before I go into any of that, please welcome my brother, Michael Baran, Bare Hands Baran, to the show. What is up, my brother? How you doing, my brother?
Hello. Hey, thanks for having me on the show, Pascal. I'm excited. Excited to talk about this.
I am so hype about this because you want to know why? Because here it is. It's nice to have another person who knows what they're talking about when it comes to this world of nature, when it comes to animals, when it comes to wildlife, this sort of situation that's going on right now. I brought you on because I wanted you to either confirm or debunk these theories that people are saying in regards to this whole, can a person actually survive for more than a week out in the swamp? Okay, but before I get your 2 cents on this, okay, because I know you're chomping at the bit, I want to show you guys this video. I showed you guys this before, but I need to throw it up again, because this is a video where a gentleman, he I guess they were calling him a Florida cowboy, was saying that, hey, there ain't no way this man would survive in this wilderness. Now, in this swamp. Now, here's the thing. As we understand, Brian Laundrie, okay, is an outdoorsy man. All right. He's like a Bear Grylls up in this piece. All right. For lack of a better person, right? Personality that does this stuff on the daily. All right. We already know that this man has gone and has gone to the Appalachian mountains and lived there successfully for months on end. But here is the lingering question. Can he survive 2 weeks, let's just say, in this swamp? Before I get my brother, Bare Hands Baran of Wildlife Command Center's opinion, let's take a look at this video one last time.
So the Myakkahatchee State Park. This is your main entrance in and out, vehicle-wise. This is where everybody comes, parks their bikes or their horse to ride the trails and all. And the location of Brian's vehicle was basically across from that oak tree right here on our left is where he had his vehicle parked, to our best of our knowledge. When it rains, it all comes up from Myakka City, Myakka River on down and flows this direction. And that side stays a lot wetter until we get it over here. This is what you would find in that 25,000 acres of the Carlton Reserve, except for a few high spots where the power lines are and a couple roads they have in there. And even a couple roads they have in there are massively underwet, just totally underwater. There's no surviving out here. I don't know how to say. I ride ranches. I'm out on horses all day with the dogs when we're working cattle. We've got water to us in our saddlebags and all, but we're out here, out there riding for 12, 13 hours a day, starting at daylight. Time we get in at night, I don't see anybody can make it out here for 10 days, 5 days. There's no water supply. There's no fresh springs. There's no stores available, unless you go 12 miles either direction. There's just no possible way. No possible way.
Of course, we're going to continue. But so far, my brother, Bare Hands Baran, what are your thoughts on this so far? Do you agree or do you disagree?
Well, I disagree with him completely. I mean,
really?
He has a passionate point of view from if Pascal was out there, would Pascal survive this long? But this guy Laundrie, he's been out in the wilderness. I mean, he knows some things. And also, just as I've shortly followed this thing, when he came back, I think he knew he was going to be on the lam, so he prepped a little bit. Certainly enough to survive out there this long, which is not really that hard, especially depending on what type of supplies you have. So I think he could be just fine out there for just this short amount. This is short amount of time to me.
You know what? Okay. This, to be honest, this is very surprising to me. I'm going to keep it straight funky with you, Michael. This is very, very surprising to me because I was expecting you to say the opposite, but that's okay. We are going to talk about this. Let's run a little bit more of this. And then, I would love to hear your explanation because this is fascinating. I love live shows, man. I love it. Let's get into the rest of this. Hold on.
Since I was 15 years old, I used to run a ranch in Frostproof, 20,000 acres when I was younger. And I have my own places and cattle and stuff. So I've been in the woods in and out all my life. I'm no bounty hunter, I'm no tracker, but I have helped them look for things that have been missing a few times. And they did ask me a couple questions about the area over here, because here a while back I had some cattle get out and I had to go find them, and the land was very wet like it is now, just as very wet. And when we were back there, so what we did is we ran up along the creek on the high bank where we could with our horses, and we looked for areas that were dry, because of course any animal or human is going to go look for a dry spot before they stay in a wet spot. I've seen them go in and come out on these ATVs muddy from daylight to dark, eaten up by mosquitoes. They have been working their butts off to do everything they can to look for Brian. In my understanding, They just, I mean, I see them out there. I see them come in. You know, they're wearing full gear in this heat and humidity. And, you know, I can't appreciate it enough of what they're doing for us. This
Now, here's the
terrain
thing.
here is
Here's the thing, Michael. Mr. Bare Hands Moran, Mr. Expert, okay, my key expert in this whole outdoorsy stuff. You think that Mr. Allen McEwen, the Florida Cowboy, do you think he's full of ish right now? You think he's just talking about his ass?
No. That's not what I think.
Okay.
I think that what he is saying is, I mean, everything that he's saying is true, but I think his perspective is like on a lost camper that just goes out recreationally camping or even glamping. But if you've got a person that is on the lam, on the run, knew he was going to be going out there to disappear for a while, I think it's a whole different story. It's a whole different situation. And all of that right there might look intimidating to y'all, but I was raised in that. I mean, me and my little brothers, when we were 14, 15 years old, we were out in that kind of environment. And
really?
you learn how to work with it. You learn how to work around it. You know, you learn how to get in it. Now, I am not saying that Brian Laundrie is out there, but I'm just saying that it is a very short period of time, because we're only talking, what, 15, 16 days?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nothing for, I mean, really? I personally could, if I knew I was going to be on the lam, I promise you wouldn't find me, and I'd be just fine out there.
Okay. Now I understand. Okay. So then explain this to me. Okay. Because I'm going to remove this video. But this is fascinating to me. I'm so happy to have you on today. By the way, everybody, do me a favor. Hit that like button down below. I see about 1,500 souls in the house watching on all these platforms right now as we speak. Do me that favor. Let's get these likes past 500 likes. Hit that like button down below. We're getting information from the man himself, Mr. Bare Hands Moran, okay, of Bare Hands Rescue, that is on Animal Planet right now as we speak, and also on Discovery Plus. He has a reality show. This man knows exactly what he is talking about. In fact, I did a ride along with him just the other day, and I still smell dead deer. That's another conversation in itself. But please, by all means, hit that like button down below. But of course, get it past 500, because I see a gang of y'all in here. You know, we're reaching 1,600 souls in here right now, past 1,600 souls right now watching this show. So please do us that small favor. Hit that like button. Get it past 500. Also, shameless plug before I get his 2 cents on this conversation. Please go over to his YouTube channel, Wildlife Command Center. Please go crush that subscribe button over there. If you want to hear any more information, if you got any questions for him, this man is an expert in this ish. So please go over to Wildlife Command Center and crush that subscribe button. Let's move on to this thing, man. I got to ask you, bruh, because this is the piece that I'm still trying to wrap my mind around this and all that. You're telling me, Mr. Bare Hands, like, actually with you, I'm not surprised. I'm sure you could live there for a whole year and you'd be like, this ain't nothing to me. And I'm a city slicker. I ain't nothing, right? But explain this to me on how one could survive out there for as long. Like, I understand that he's an outdoorsy guy. Like, he's a Bear Grylls, you know, he's used to being outdoors. Fair enough. But for 15, 16 days, how could one successfully survive in the swamp with minimal, maybe just a backpack to get them through those 2 some odd weeks? Please indulge us.
Well, if you've got a backpack of just basic supplies, then I mean, you're good for 30 to 45 days. Like, I'm just talking about maybe a 40-pound backpack with dehydrated food, fire starter, and some clothing, and probably mosquito netting. He's from Florida, so he's used to dealing with some of these insects out there. I'm just saying that my perspective is that he's not been out there very long, and I suspect that he can stay out there for a while longer. But eventually, I mean, everybody knows he's going to be found. I mean, he's not going to disappear forever. He's just can't be found right now. That's all. The other thing I'd like to say too is a lot of people don't realize how much room he has to move around. Like, I grew up on 40 acres of land, and then we had 20,000 acres of swamp behind us, the Catahoula Swamp. Man, that's just such an amazing, immense amount of land to be on. And one human, man, can disappear in that pretty good.
So you're telling me, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but so you're telling me that this guy could successfully be out there for how long are you thinking? Because let's be real, how can it's nothing but water, it's nothing but murky water. So at some point he needs to rest his bones, right? At some point he needs to sit his ass down. So how long can somebody deal with that?
It's water right there around where they were showing you, but the whole swamp's not like that. There are high parts in the swamp. I mean, that's why you have so many deer and mammals and raccoons and different animals like that. They don't live in the water. They live on land, on dry land. So there is dry land out there. Maybe not where that guy was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
It could be somewhere else. But the other advantage is that the guy knows he's being hunted. So, if he starts hearing four-wheelers coming in, he's not going to stick around. He's not going to wait right there. He's not going to have anything. And then to be able to try to find a small campfire out in the woods when somebody tries to hide it, I don't know. Eventually, certainly they're going to find him. But I think he could have a nice stay out there for 30, 45 days. No problem.
Wow. 30, 45 days. Come on, y'all. Hold up. Can we just take a moment here and just think about that? I'm not ready to talk about him for 30, 45 days.
Hey,
I'm just going to be honest. But go ahead, bro. Go ahead, Michael, please.
Well, there's been a lot of, whatever happened, there's been a lot of planning and preparation on his point. His whole trip home, I mean, when you look at the one fact that as soon as he got home, their lawyer was involved.
Absolutely.
Like they got their lawyer involved. So there was a lot of preparation going. There were, Brian Laundrie was definitely communicating with his family. And so there was definitely a lot of prep going on. And so even if he just had the basics of basics and he wanted to disappear, lay low for a while, I mean, I don't see any reason why he can't be out there 30, 45 days. And it may be that long before they find him. I mean, but they will find him. I mean, he's not going to be able to disappear.
Yeah. So, okay. We definitely need to talk about that here as well. But here really quick, because we did get a super chat and I'm sure to debunk or, make people answer this question, because apparently a lot of people are asking what's behind you, basically. So thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Carla Hussey, it says, what in the world is behind Bear over his left shoulder, LOL? What is that?
Yeah, well, so I saw that popping up. I knew we were going to have to talk about it eventually. Yeah. But, it's a mannequin because I'm in a lot of movies. I do a lot of zombie movies. And so, I got to put costumes together, and that's the mannequin that I dress the costumes up. And that way, when I get to set on the movie set, I know I've got all my parts and pieces, and we can get going quicker.
There you have it, y'all. And thank you so much for the
mannequin.
Exactly. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. But yes, this man is a multifaceted man. You know what I mean? Not only is he a animal whisperer, all right, and a wilderness whisperer, outdoorsy man, but he is also an actor as well. So he does a lot of movies and all that stuff as well. I mean, look at those blue eyes. I mean, you'll be all right. You know what I mean? I can see why he is married to a wonderful, wonderful woman. She's lost in those eyes. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's it.
But let's move on. Because let's talk about this thing. Okay. And Carla Hussey, or Hussey, I guess Hussey. I'm sorry for pronouncing your last name wrong. Thank you so much for becoming a member. Okay. Thank you so much for being a part of the family. Thank you. Every little bit goes a very, very long way. So thank you again. Hit that like button, crush that thing, send it all the way up. That would be greatly, greatly appreciated. Okay. Send those likes. I see 2,700 souls in the house on all platforms right now. So do us that small favor, crush that like button, send it past Well, it's almost past 500, but hey, let's go to 600. I'd really, really appreciate it. Let's move on to this next piece, okay? And of course, do not forget to hit that subscribe button. Shameless plug. This is the only way that the show and this channel will survive if you guys subscribe. So please hit that subscribe button. That would really, really mean a lot. Okay, let's talk about the dog, the bounty hunter. Okay? Obviously, actually, you know what? Actually, before we go into the dog bounty hunter situation, do you think, let's still stay in the swamp for a second. I know we're going to stay in the swamp, but let's talk about this for a second. Do you really think that Brian is in there?
Oh, I've got no clue. I really don't. One of the things that the FBI and a lot of the police have at their disposal is they have some really high-tech infrared equipment that's hooked up to helicopters, and it can scan a lot of area really fastly. And even if there were pigs and deer out there that they would hit on the infrared, these things are the definition on these infrared cameras nowadays is so great that you can make out the human form and you can tell the difference between a deer and a pig.
Yep.
So they can cover a lot of ground with those infrared cameras, and they have them in there. I mean, this story is big enough now that they're probably bringing out the big guns, the big tech.
Oh yeah. I mean, they're spending enough money, right? They're spending $200,000 a day, everybody. $200,000 a day to make sure that they bring this man to justice, and they're still coming up empty-handed.
And with an infrared camera too, they can cover a lot of ground, but the swamp would be the easiest place to find him with an infrared camera, because you just don't have a lot of coverage. You don't have a lot of tree canopy. You don't have a lot of places to hide. There's no caves. There's nowhere he can get down unless he really got underwater. And then they've got some of these cameras that are sophisticated enough, they can find manatees in the water. So, I don't know if he's out there or not. I don't really have opinion if he is or isn't. I'm just saying it's a lot of land, and it's not as hard to disappear for a while as a lot of people think it might be.
That's like I said, it would be incredibly, excruciatingly hard for him to disappear in that swamp. And I at least we agree on that, Michael. Because in my mind, I don't think any person, doesn't matter if you're a city slicker or if you are the most outdoorsy outdoorsman in the history of outdoorsy outdoorsmen, there's no way that somebody can last that long with just a backpack.
But it's only been 14, 15 days. That's not very long.
That's a lot of time standing up, baby. That's a lot of time, man. Like, that's a lot of time. And especially if you're going to go climbing trees. Like, if he ain't climbing trees and any of that sort, and he's still not getting caught, waiting in that kind of water for that long, I feel like at some point, even 2 weeks later, your body's going to start talking. Your body's going to react in some sort of way. Well, and also the thing is that if he goes and takes a dump, you know what I mean? If he just expels waste, they're going to be able to catch his scent. So how are you going to do that standing around in swamp? And I understand that there's dry areas and everything, but at the same time, like, how do you do that? How do you do that successfully without leaving a trace, without leaving a scent? I mean,
you've got there was a whole bunch of points in that what you just said. Okay. The one, when you're out in survival mode, you don't take a dump very often. Every 3 or 4 days is normal, especially when you've got a lower caloric intake. So that's different. When we're in the city and we're in regular environment, maybe you'll have a bowel movement every day and people think that's normal. But when you're in a survival situation, it doesn't happen. Okay. The other thing is that he's not climbing trees. Well, one, there's not very many trees out in the swamp, not a lot. And why would he climb them? I mean,
in my mind, it would be to just get dry, to get
well,
up okay, let me ask you this then. Let me ask you this. I don't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Michael. But let me ask you this though. at some point, you're going to go, if you're going 15 days, let's say he's been out there for 15, 16 days. Let's say that he is in the swamp. He's there for 15, 16 days. At some point, he's going to have to lay his head down to rest.
Well,
How is he
sure.
supposed to do that successfully in a swamp? Let's just
Well,
say if he doesn't find a dry area, a comfortable area to do so, in my mind, you're going to climb a tree. You're going to get a hammock. You're going to wrap something around so that you can actually have a successful few hours of sleep, right?
Yes, but you're making the assumption that there's water everywhere, and it just isn't. There's water where we saw that video. That's it. The Florida swamps are just not that waterlogged. I mean, there's a lot of high land up there. There's a lot of places, and also nobody really knows exactly where he is.
Fair enough.
But the one thing that I would be looking for if I was out there is the one thing that he has to have that he will not survive very long without, and that's warmth and fire. He really doesn't necessarily need to be boiling his water, but he should. He can drink that water that's out there, but it's going to catch up with him.
I was going to say, you're going to have explosive diarrhea, in my personal opinion, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But this guy's not looking to stay out there for forever. He's just on the run, and I'm sure he's not making great decisions.
Right.
But fire, that's a thing. So even if he's digging a hole in the ground and he's burning a hot fire so it doesn't make any smoke, there's still going to be some smoke,
Right.
So that would be the thing that I would be really looking for. The other thing is that the dogs are only good if they can get close, and depending on the dogs and where they came from and if they're any good or not. Some dogs are really good if you put them on a hot scent and it's something that they're familiar to chase. And it's such a large area. Who knows? They pull dogs in all the time for these kind of hunts, and some of the dogs just aren't worth a hoot. Some of them are just by breed something that should chase a person, but if they're not doing that day in, day out, they have to be super close to get a scent to follow. Back in the days when I was hunting in the swamps as a young child, we had rabbit dogs, but unless the rabbit dogs ran across a fresh rabbit scent, they were just out running around in the woods, doing nothing, just running around looking,
Gotcha. It is a very fascinating thing to me because, obviously, in my mind, because like I said, I don't know. And I know there's a lot of people that are watching this show, checking this out, that are just like me, city slickers, that don't know anything about the swamp, knowing what it's like to be in the swamp, that are automatically thinking like, there ain't no way he could last even a week with all that stuff, mosquitoes and the water. And, if you don't have all the things that you need to have a decent amount of sustenance in your body, at some point you're going to break. At some point you're going to fall apart. But you are begging to differ. And I do appreciate you telling me these pieces. Now, there is a piece that I didn't play in the video, and then we got to go into a very, 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 very quick and very short commercial break. But you said, or in this video, the video that I just showed you of the Florida cowboy, all right, Alec, I forgot his last name now, sorry, but he mentioned something along the lines of buzzards flying around. If there was a dead body, they would have found it already. It would have surfaced at some point, right? He said you could see buzzards from a ways away. We would have been able to find his body if he had expired, let's just say. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that's even possible? Do you think that's true or no? Like, do you think if he actually perished in the swamp, maybe he took his own life or not, do you think we'd be able to find him that easily?
So if he just died of exposure and he died somewhere above ground, the human body has a lot of fat. Even he being a skinny guy like he is, there's a lot of fat. And as that decomposes, the buzzards are going to be on it like crazy. But something as big as a human body, you're going to have 30, 40 buzzards circling around. And yeah, you would see that right away. I mean, when we used to deer hunt as a kid, and we lose a deer, that's how we would find it, the crows and the buzzards. So that's true. If he was expired out there and on top of the surface, he would be. But what if he had some extravagant suicide thought where he chained himself with some chains or something and he wanted to sink his body, you know? I mean, I can think that would be fairly easily to do.
But you're telling me that I mean, swamp isn't supposed to be, like I said, I'm not well versed in swamps. Okay, so forgive me, fam, forgive me, viewers that are watching right now. But in my opinion, I would think that swamps aren't that deep, right? So
Yeah,
if he
typically
was to do something like that, he could still resurface at some point, right?
Oh, sure. I mean, it just depends on a lot of different factors. But swamps typically have deep channels that go through them. In Louisiana, we used to call them bayous. And you know, they could be 10, 15 foot deep. That's how the water moves in and out of the swamp. And especially since those swamps are tidal, you know, they're affected by the tides. So they got a lot of water movement. You could have some 15, 20 foot channels that go through there. So there is some deep enough water. But who knows? I mean, it's all just speculation at this point. You know, the guy's going to show up. It's going to happen.
I mean, I really do think he's going to, at some point, pop out of nowhere, in my personal opinion. Whether that is him still breathing or him not, but there's many, many possibilities. Real quick, before we go into our next topic, because we are going to be talking about Dog the Bounty Hunter and what my friend, brother Berhan Baran thinks on this, on Dog the Bounty Hunter being involved. Please, guys, I see close to 5,000 people watching this show on all platforms right now. Please crush that like button down below. Let's see that go past 1,000 likes. Okay. I'm giving you guys some information. I'm sure Michael is either confirming or debunking your own theories on the stuff that's going on in the swamp. So do us this small favor, crush that like button. And of course, please destroy that subscribe button. I'm trying to give you guys quality content revolving around this Brian Laundrie situation. Okay, so do us a small favor, destroy that subscribe button. And of course, my brother's YouTube channel as well, Wildlife Command Center, is pinned to the top of the chat right now as we speak. So please do yourself a favor, quickly go over there and just subscribe to his channel real quick. Okay, that would really mean a lot to both of us. All right, we are going to go into the conversation about Dog the Bounty Hunter, but first we got to pay some bills. We'll be right back in 1 minute. See you in a minute. Peace.
This is the police! Yay! Come out now! Somebody help!
I don't know what any of this means.
Daniel, what was that? James! I just want to leave!
How are we watching ourselves on this tape? How is any of this even possible?
There seemed to be a little bit of a technical difficulty there. I'm going to try to run back that again here in a little bit. But yes, we got to jump into this conversation. Dog the Bounty Hunter. As we already know, this man is out here hot on the pursuit of Brian Laundrie. And I got to ask you, what are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on this situation? Do you think he's doing it for clout? Do you think he's doing it for real? What are your thoughts on this whole situation with Dog the Bounty Hunter?
Well, I don't think he's doing it for real. I mean, there's plenty of other missing person cases that have been of this profile. maybe that have not grown as quickly as this one has. But, you know, Dog's definitely looking for a new reality TV show. There's no doubt about that. However, he has a lot of good resources. Like, you know, the guy was, before he got all blonde hair and crazy dress, I mean, he was a bounty hunter, and he was making a successful living at it. So he does know how to do different types of search techniques, and he certainly has a lot of resources to be able to pull in. So I think he probably can be an asset to this search, but my gut thought is that he definitely is doing it for the exposure.
Doing it for the exposure. That's what you think he's doing, just for the exposure. Now,
sure,
I think that there's a lot of people that feel that way as well. I mean, at the end of the day, if this is an opportunity for us to get closer to the truth, closer to the information of what's really going on with this situation, right? Then I don't blame anybody for wanting to have something like this. I don't blame him for jumping forward. You know, if he has the skills and he's using this as an opportunity to get his name out there, then why the heck not? Right.
Well, he's got absolutely nothing to lose, nothing whatsoever. If he doesn't find him, he still gets great exposure. However, if he does find some key information, then he gets a big plug, and it's a guaranteed reality show. You know, so but you know, the guy does have some skills. Now, you know, I saw some pictures of him walking out in the dry swamp with a dog and a couple of other people. And, you know, I don't know if that's the best way to do a search. You know, certainly I'm used to a military style grid type search where it's very, very on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah, that's the video right there. Yeah, is that really the best way to get out there? I mean, he's definitely not dressed right there to be out in the Florida swamps, you know.
Clearly, he's clearly dressed for the part.
Yes,
he's clearly dressed for the part, right?
And you know, I've got no qualms with that, because I know he does have skills, but mostly he's got resources. He has a lot of resources. The man has networked for years, and he's got a lot of networking resources. And so, you know, he probably will be some type of benefit to this investigation. You know, I mean, you know, the theory is out there that it's because of him that the FBI got the video surveillance for the campsite. You know, exactly. It was his efforts that brought that surveillance film forward. Now, of course, unfortunately, we can't see that, and we probably never will. But, you know, so the good and the bad. Yeah, he is doing it for the publicity because he's got nothing to lose.
You know, I think it's interesting, though, too, because let's talk about that. He goes, hey, I'm out here. I'm knocking on the door. I'm going to find the son, all that stuff, right? And then all of a sudden, he just does basic math. I mean, this is the way I'm calling it, right? He just does basic math. And he's like, wait a second. So allegedly, the parents and the son got into a camper, drove off into this particular place, Fort DeSoto campsite or park for the campsite. They were there. Allegedly, they were there. So he went over there and he's like, yo, I got proof. Here it is. Here it is. I got proof positive that they were here, right? Showing over and over and over again that the FBI, the law enforcement, whatever, have been, they're barking up the wrong tree. Pun intended, not intended, high key, low key. They're barking up the wrong tree. You got Dog out here going and doing basic math and possibly being hot on this man's trail.
Or at least bringing key information to the table. At a minimum, bringing key information to the table.
True.
So,
at least, you know, at a minimum,
right?
Bringing
at
that
a minimum,
bringing that to the table for sure. And bringing.
But you know, I think a lot of us are guilty of thinking that investigations like this and manhunts like this happen the way it happens in the movies, where you can see both sides of the investigation. You can see what actually happened, and then you can see what the FBI is allowed to see what happens. And that's just not the case. You know, the FBI is trying to do the best that they can, and they're, you can imagine they're getting leads from everywhere. I mean, it's a full-time job just to figure out what's BS and what's not, you
Right.
know? And then a good lead comes through. And how do you know that was the good lead until hindsight happens, you know?
Right. Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's true. Because I mean, of course, I've always wondered how they actually, maybe you can answer this. I don't know if you can, but I'm going to ask you anyway. I mean, I know that you track wildlife all day long, and I'm assuming it's kind of the same approach, right? So how does and of course this is a human, this is a person, and he always says, "Oh, I'm going to track as soon as I get his scent. Ooh, it's on, brother," right? So from your own experience, from your own expertise, how does one, let's just say, track somebody's scent? I mean, aside from actually having a canine, how do you know that you're hot on somebody's trail?
Well, that's the $1 million question right there. Certainly, if you knew the terrain, like we can all look at satellite images of the swamp, the terrain where you're at.
Right.
I can look at a satellite image and I can make my speculation of where I think somebody would travel if they were trying to get away or if they were trying to hide. I'd go look in those spots first, and then hopefully you're going to find some clues along the way. Now, I saw a picture of an empty Monster Energy drink that
Yes.
supposedly was for him.
Right.
Well, this guy is in high alert. He's not going to be leaving a Monster Energy drink laying around. He would have crushed it, stuck it in the ground, covered it over. You'd never even know that anything was there.
Right. Unless though, you got somebody who thinks he's untouchable, who thinks that there's no way they're going to find him over here. That he's like, hey, the tracks have been covered. I'm good. My theory is that he's probably on another island somewhere else, not even in the islands that they're looking at right now. Like, he is gone. I think that somebody picked him up and they sailed off or drove off somewhere else. But you're there, you're hanging out, maybe cocky, thinking that, hey, there's no way that they're gonna catch me. Shoot, I'm Jimmy Hoffa up in this piece. There ain't no way they're gonna find my body. And then he just hopped on the $1,000 that were paid, that he stole from somebody's credit card. That's why he's in trouble right now for credit card fraud, which apparently they're saying could be that it could have been Gabby Petito's actual credit card, but he took out $1,000 out of that, withdrew an equivalent of $1,000. He used that $1,000 to pay somebody cash to sail him somewhere else. I think that's what it is. It's gotta be.
It could be, but if you're on the run, an island is the worst place you're going to want to be, because you're stuck on an island. You're going to get caught eventually. You're going to run out of supplies faster than you're going to die of exposure. If in my situation, I would not go to an island. You might be able to hide for a little while on an island, but one pass of an infrared helicopter and you're found, and now you can't get away. It's the worst thing, worst place.
Interesting. I got a super chat here. Cheryl Cole, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. And I missed a bunch of other super chats, but thank you all for all your support and the super chats. Thank you so much. The chat is flying through right now, and like I said, I see a bunch of you guys here. Let's see the likes go to 1.5K likes. So please keep crushing that like button down below. But Cheryl Cole asked this: is it reasonable to think he's moving between Fort DeSoto and the swamp? What do you think? Michael?
Well, I mean, he's in hiding, and there's so many eyes out and about. I mean, certainly it's not that hard to move around if you've got plenty of cover. But the point is, are you really entering into the swamp every day? That's leaving a lot of trail, a lot of footprints, a lot of possibilities to be discovered. It could be that he is, and that's how he's going to get caught. If he was doing that, then that's how he's going to get caught. It might extend his health. It might extend the amount of time that he can evade, but it's also going to be the reason why he's caught, because every time he enters that swamp, you've got a new entry point for somebody to discover.
Yeah.
Because you can't move in and out of the swamp without leaving some tracks. You can move in the dry areas of the swamp, or even in the semi-wet areas or freshly wet areas, but those muddy areas, you're going to leave tracks, and deep tracks at that.
No doubt. Yeah. So then what would you say is a successful way for, if you were in the mind of Brian Laundrie, okay, and you were in this situation, what would you do?
Well, I certainly would not be in Florida. Like that, to me, that would be the worst place to stay.
How come?
To end up? Well, one, it's just too easy to get spotted on infrared cameras. I mean, guys, if y'all go to YouTube, and while you're there, go ahead and click on my YouTube channel, just because. But if you just search a little bit about infrared cameras on YouTube and infrared cameras in helicopters, you'll see how easy it is to go across some place like the swamp where there's not a lot of cover, there's not a lot of overhead, there's not a lot of tree canopy, and find something. Like, these cameras are really, really good. Now, if he was going to, if he was going to, given the time frame that we're looking at, the closest place that I would really feel comfortable if I was in that situation, I'd head east and north to the Appalachians, because there's a lot of places to hide up there, a lot of places.
So you think he's probably in the Appalachian hills, mountains, hills, trails?
You asked me what I would do if it was me. I would not be in the swamps. I would be somewhere where I could actually hide.
Right. He ain't in the swamp. Come on now. He ain't in no damn swamp. Come on now. Come on, y'all. You know for a fact he gone. He not there. He's somewhere else. He either in that island or he is up in the Appalachian Mountains.
Well, if he is on an island, he's going to be found in short order. They will find him. They'll find him at night with an infrared helicopter. I'm telling you. You can't get away from it.
But then, see, that's what's funny. If he's been gone for this long, and they've been scouring the swamp, for example, for I think like a week now. Yeah, almost a week. 6 days. Why wouldn't they have already caught him by now? If they've been combing it like crazy, right?
Well, first off, that is a lot of swamp. I mean, that is a lot of landmass. I'm just saying he will be found. But 6 days is not very long. Now, if you were going to comb Kirkwood in St. Louis, right, you could probably comb all of Kirkwood in a week and fly it infrared. But you're talking about hundreds of thousands of acres of land, and it takes a long time. Even if you're doing a military grid with an infrared camera and a helicopter, it still takes a lot of sorties to be able to cover all that land. And it's just been too soon. It's not been very long. Everybody's acting like this has been a really long time. And guys, it's only been, 14 days. And of those, only 6 of them of high intensity search.
Right. No, you ain't wrong. I just keep thinking that we see the swamp stuff, right? We see the things that are going on with the swamp, but then we also see the things that are going on with what Dog the Bounty Hunter is doing and what he's involved with right now. You feel me? Mm-hmm. So you instantly keep wondering, well, they're not seeing anything and it's been 6 days. I understand. I get it. I ain't going to front. I mean, I'm speaking to an expert and what you're talking about. So if you say that that's the case, then okay, I'm with you 100%. But then there's that other side, right? There's that other side of the thing where it's like, well, Dog the Bounty Hunter found this information. It seems logical to the layman's out here like myself, where, I'd rather hide out in some secluded random island than hide out in some swamp, wet, cold, and uncomfortable. You see what I'm saying? So I definitely see what you're saying. With that theory, that he could very well be in that swamp. It's gigantic. You can get lost in it, literally. We got a super chat. Deanna Rogers, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Is it possible that somebody rented a cabin for him and paid for a 30 to 60-day rental. What are your thoughts on that, Michael? Do you think that's possible?
Well, anything is possible, but they looked at all the cabins. They went and looked at all the easy places. That's the very first thing they did,
That is actually true. I mean, because like literally today they're going back into the camper, right? And I'm looking at it, and we're watching it live because we did a stream earlier today, and I'm sitting there going, man, wouldn't it be funny? Wouldn't it be funny as hell if he was in that camper? I literally said that. I was like, that'd be funny if he was hiding in plain sight this entire time. That'd be hilarious.
Under the bed somewhere.
Right.
Well, it's like that guy a number of years ago in the early 2000s that did something in Dallas or somewhere, and he was hiding inside a boat that had a big cover over it, and the cops all went past it. They all went past him, but the infrared found him. The infrared camera found him. So
that's funny as hell.
Yeah,
that's funny as hell. So who do you think, before I let you go, my brother, and we move on to the next story, who do you think has a fighting chance? Do you think law enforcement's going to catch him, or do you think Dog the Bounty Hunter is going to catch him? Who do you think has a better chance right now?
Oh, well, the law enforcement's going to find him first. There's just more eyes and more people looking. Dog the Bounty Hunter is himself and what little crew he might have. And so just the odds of Dog the Bounty Hunter finding him are very, very thin, unless Brian Laundrie made a deal with Dog when he went on the lam and said, hey, look, here's your opportunity, just afford me some legal advice and pay for my legal bills. So it's all a big scam,
This whole story is becoming crazier and crazier. I'm just going to be straight funky with you, man. It's getting crazier and crazier. I'm still trying to understand it. I'm still trying to wrap my mind around this whole situation.
Yeah, it is. It is. But the guy's not going to stay. He's not going to disappear forever. He doesn't have the resources to be able to disappear forever. He's just being very inconvenient for law enforcement right now, staying just hidden enough where they can't find him right now. And, we are a people and a society of instant gratification. We think that if somebody goes missing, we can find them right away. And I'm going to tell you, this is still a big country with a whole lot of open space.
Facts. Oh, this is going to be a long journey. I have a feeling. Oh, have mercy. Well, hey, Michael Baran, Bare Hands Baran, thank you so much for being on. I really do appreciate it, giving us some of your expertise, some of your wisdom and knowledge within this whole thing. I mean, like I said, this is something that we need to know more of, because like I've been saying, like I said in the very beginning, this stuff is tough. For a regular dude, a city slicker like myself, who is not, I would say, versed in the outdoors, in the ways of the samurai outdoors, it's a lot. You know what I mean? So for anyone who has been thinking otherwise, Michael, Mr. Bare Hands Baran of Bare Hand Rescue, just debunked all that. So there's a good possibility. There's a good possibility that this man could be living off the fat of the land in a swamp.
Hey, whenever they do find him, though, let's have another chat, and we'll talk about the circumstances of him being captured.
Word.
It will happen. It will happen.
And I can't wait till he gets captured, because we're going to watch it right here on this show, hopefully live when it all goes down. Trust and believe. Okay. But Michael, thank you again, Michael Baran, Bare Hands Baran of Bare Hands Rescue and of Wildlife Command Center. I really do appreciate you coming on and chopping it up with me, because this is the information that we all need to know. Real talk. Especially, can we survive a swamp? How long can somebody survive in a swamp or off on a deserted island? How can one? I mean, it sounds a little bit easier to deal with if you're out there in a secluded island in comparison to living in a swamp. That's just my own personal opinion. I mean, I'm sure
No,
Michael will sit here and tell me otherwise, but
No, you're not
uneducated with this ish.
You're not wrong on that point. It would be a lot easier, but it's also way easier to get caught. Way easier to get caught.
Yeah.
But it would be easier, and especially if the theory is he took out some money to buy some supplies and hire somebody, pay him cash to boat him out to one of these islands. So who knows how big his stash is?
Exactly. Well, he at least has $1,000 that he took from a credit card. That's all we know so far.
But the island would be his downfall because it's just too easy to get caught, and you can't run. Once somebody locks in that you're on an island, which it will happen. I know the FBI or the local law enforcement is going to be hitting those islands. There's just a lot of them out there. I mean, if you just Google search it with a satellite view, that area and all the little islands that they have out there, there's a ton of them to try to search. Just a huge landmass.
I mean, fingers crossed that we bring him in. We bring him in one piece. We bring him in alive, and we bring him in to face the law and get justice for Gabby or for any of these other people that he might be connected with, because there's some speculations about connections to another double homicide in Moab, Utah, that there's a possibility that there's a connection there too. But like I said, I'm going to be doing more of a deep dive into the timeline to confirm or debunk any of those things, because there's a lot of people that are speculating a lot of stuff revolving around this situation. But my brother, Bare Hands Baran, can you please tell everybody where they can find you, and tell them about the show real quick so that they can go and cyber stalk you tastefully. There
we go. Hey, every day I'm out there rescuing real people just like you guys from wild animals and wild animal incursion. And we've got a show on Animal Planet that is now parked on Discovery Plus, so you can stream it anytime you want, called Bare Hands Rescue. It's informative, it's very entertaining, and it's not just me and these blue eyes, like Pascal says, but it's my whole team. And you can see what we actually do on a day-to-day basis with our bare hands most of the time.
There you go. So do us a favor. The link is above. Link is pinned to the top of the chat. Please go hit that and go over and subscribe to his channel. And Michael, I highly recommend you should talk about this on your channel, even if it is just a small thing, because this thing is popping off like crazy. People love to hear your thoughts about survival in a swamp or survival on a deserted island, if it's even possible. Man, what are the chances of him getting eaten up by an alligator? All that stuff. I'm not even going to ask you those questions. You can answer those on your channel so that everybody can go over there, subscribe, and consume your content and consume your wisdom. Again, Michael Baran, Bare Hands Baran of Bare Hands Rescue. I really do appreciate you coming on again. I appreciate you, and I love you, brother. Thank you so much.
All right, man. You have a great night. Thank you, guys.
You too, man. Peace. So there you guys have it. I mean, I'm still continuing. There's still more we got to talk about. No doubt. Okay. So we will be talking about this 911 call or the 911 calls and all that stuff. But like I said, please go over to Bare Hand Baran's channel, or Michael Baran's channel, Wildlife Command Center. Crush that subscribe button. Trust me, you will thank me later. The man is extremely well-versed, and he knows exactly what the heck he is talking about. As you saw, I was expecting him to sit there and say something else. I thought he was going to be like, nah, man, that man going to die. If he stays in that swamp for 1 week, he going to die. He didn't say that, man. Surprised the hell out of me. Surprised the hell out of me. But anyway, we got to go into a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. We're going to talk about these 911 phone calls. Also, hit that subscribe button down below. And don't forget to crush that like button. That would be really appreciated. But, we had a little technical difficulty, so I want to play this one more again.
This is the police! Yay! Come out now! Somebody help!
How do don't know what any of this means.
Angel, what was that? James! I just want to leave.
How are we watching ourselves on this tape? How is any of this even possible?
Yes. There you have it, y'all. The Fear Footage Trilogy trailer. It is out now on Amazon Prime. I mean, if you're looking for something fun and scary to watch for Halloween, because you know, tomorrow starts Halloween season. Let's be real, okay? By all means, go over there, go to Amazon Prime, and go check out the Fear Footage Trilogy. Again, available right now on Amazon Prime. But let's go. Let's keep it moving. We got to go into this story here. There is another story. Now, they're saying cops were called, which I'm going to show this article, but cops were called at the Florida home of Brian Laundrie's parents twice on the day before Gabby Petito was reported missing, and 3 more 911 calls were made over the next 24 hours. This is insane. And I want to show you guys this article so you guys can see this with your own 2 eyes. And again, huge shout out to Michael Baran for being on. I really do appreciate him coming on, chopping it up with me. And, you know, he's family. He's part of the Pascal Show family. And if you are a fan or a member of this show, I'm sure you've seen him many, many times terrorize me with snakes because I don't like snakes. Okay. And yeah, that's all I'm going to say right there. But anyway, it says here, cops were called to the Florida home of Brian Laundrie's parents twice on the day before Gabby Petito was reported missing, and 3 more 911 calls were made over the next 24 hours. Now, I'm not going to read the entire article. I'm just going to read some of the bullets here. But it says here, police received 2 public service 911 calls connected to Brian Laundrie's parents' Northport home the day before Gabby Petito was reported missing. It is unclear who called the 911 or what those 911 calls entailed. However, both have been given the brief description of problem settled. Interesting. The provided records also indicate that 3 calls were also placed to the residence on September 11th, the day Petito's missing persons report was filed. So, 3 calls were called. 3 calls were made the day her missing persons report was filed. I wonder what caused that to happen. I wonder what caused somebody to call that moment. Here's my theory before we continue. It also says, real quick, those calls were listed as follow-up investigations and agency assist. Response was described as problem settled or problem solved. No police action needed and report submitted. Since September 10th, officers have received at least 46 emergency phone calls connected to the residence. 46, y'all. 46 calls. What you think is going on over there, y'all? 46. According to this article that I'm reading right now, the Daily Mail, 46. We're going to continue, but here it is. Let me go back to the little bullets here because I'm not going to read the whole article because, you know, Daily Mail, their articles tend to be super long-winded, but here it is. It says, the provided records also indicate that 3 calls were placed to the residence on September 11th, the day Petito's missing persons report was filed. Interesting. Maybe somebody knew something. You have 46 emergency phone calls that were placed. 46. What do you think could have possibly been going on? Real talk. What do you think could have possibly have been popping off for there to be 46 emergency phone calls made on the 10th of September? I'm going to show you guys here real quick because there is a little bit of some screenshots here. There's the monster drink. There's Dog, the bounty hunter, out here, excited about how he's hot on the pursuit. There they are at one of those islands. Let me show you. It's coming up. Like I said, long article, very, very long article explaining all the stuff that we've been covering this entire time for the week solid that we've been talking about this. Where is it? Should be here. Where did it go? Okay. So there's a little bit of a timeline here that we see right here in front of us. So I'm going to show you guys a little bit of that here too. So timeline of missing Gabby Petito's case. So July 2nd, Gabby Petito and her boyfriend Brian Laundrie left Blue Point, New York for a cross-country road trip. August 12th, police in Moab, Utah respond to a domestic incident involving the couple. August 21st, Petito's father, Joseph Petito, has his last FaceTime video call with his daughter, who is in Salt Lake City, Utah. August 24th, Petito is last seen at a hotel in Salt Lake City with Laundrie. August 25th, Petito makes final call to mother, Nicole Schmidt, saying she was at the Grand Teton National Park. August 25th or 26th, because it's still kind of hazy, the couple chats with the owner of a shop called Rustic Row in Victor, Utah, for about 20 minutes. August 27th, video of Petito's van was taken by a blogger, Jen Bethune, of Red, White, and Bethune around 6:30 p.m. at the Spread Creek campground. Petito's mom receives an odd text, quote-unquote odd text, from her phone. This is the last contact from her phone. August 29th, the day that Wisconsin TikToker Miranda Baker claimed, we covered it, claimed that she and her boyfriend were approached by Laundrie at Grand Teton National Park and asked them for a ride at 5:30 p.m. August 30th, which doesn't make any sense to me still. That doesn't make any sense to me still. I mean, the only theory I have is that maybe he just said he jumped in the car. Then as soon as they said that they were going to a specific area, he didn't want to go there, so he hopped back out. The only thought I thought was he just said, F it, I have no other choice but to take her car and drive back home to Florida. That's the only thought. That's the only excuse I can think of on why he decided to jump out of that car that he hitchhiked. August 30th, Mrs. Schmidt receives the last text from Petito. No service in Yosemite. August 31st, Laundrie's mother, Roberta, here it is. This is the fun stuff right here. Laundrie's mother, Roberta, good old-fashioned Roberta. I'm calling her Roberta. Shout out to my boy David. Laundrie's mother, Roberta, cancels a camping trip for two to Fort DeSoto campsite for September 1st through the 3rd. September 1st, Laundrie returns to his parents' home in Northport, Florida, in the van without sans Petito. September 4th, Laundrie. So during that time, he came home, and then I guess he jumped into a car with the camper, with his rents, and went over to the thing anyway. Went to the campsite anyway. Okay. Then they came back around the 3rd or 4th. So on September 4th, because according to Dog the Bounty Hunter, they went to the campsite together with the new camper to that spot, which they say eyewitnesses have claimed, neighbors and all that have shown that. All right. So let's go back to this. September 4th, Laundrie, after he goes from that to that campsite, the Fort DeSoto campsite, he comes back, allegedly. He comes back and he purchases a new cell phone from a Northport, AT&T store. The FBI is currently in possession of that actual burner phone. We call it a burner, okay? Because apparently he had 2 phones. Maybe more than 2, in my personal opinion. Laundrie and his parents, on the 6th through the 8th of September, visit Fort DeSoto, like I said, allegedly for the second time. This is what Dog the Bounty Hunter shows in all that. Visits Fort DeSoto campsite in Florida. Records show. The records show it. The family's lawyer says they stayed only from the 6th through the 7th. So they came back early. They came back a day early, according to Bertolino, the man who can't spell baloney. September 10th, the Laundrie's neighbor, Karen Roberts, says she saw Laundrie at the family home. She says she saw him. So maybe he really was there. We don't know. Okay. September 11th, Petito's mom reports Petito missing to authorities in New York. Petito and Laundrie's van is impounded by police in Florida that same day, but authorities are denied entry to their home to speak with Laundrie. Why is that? Interesting. Because, by the way, that's a piece of information I didn't even know. I'm going to be completely straight funky with y'all. I did not know that they showed up and they refused to let the cops come in to speak to Brian Laundrie. By the way, see, this is the thing that doesn't make any sense to me, y'all. Please explain it to me. When a cop comes up to your door, I mean, I guess there's the law. Let's not forget that. There's the law. But here it is. They're impounding the car, the van. They're asking to speak to Brian, and the parents are going, nope, you can't talk to him. Sorry. So you're saying from September 11th and on, there hasn't been any physical evidence or physical presence of Brian Laundrie? So you're saying 5-0 hadn't even seen his ass? Please, somebody make this sense to me. Exactly, Chris V, because he wasn't there. Brother wasn't there. But somebody needs to make this make sense for me. Somebody do the math for me, because the math just ain't mathin'. He'd been gone. He was long gone. He was long gone before this. 46 emergency phone calls, 911 calls were made. On September 10th, you don't think if he was to leave, right? If he was to skedaddle, whether he went during the time that went to the campsite or before, after that, you don't think that by the 10th he would have been kicking rocks? Bruh, come on now. He been kicking rocks, baby. Let's move on. September 12th, Grand Teton National Park Rangers search for Petito. September 14th, Laundrie issues a statement about Petito's disappearance through his lawyer. Huh? So in other words, he was on the phone with this guy's ass, baloney, the baloney lawyer. At least between the 12th through the 14th. And the lawyer don't even know where he was? September 14th, Laundrie reportedly bought a burner phone, another one. DJ Khaled up in this piece, man, another one. He went and bought another burner phone from an AT&T store in his hometown of Northport, Florida. What? But we haven't seen him. So here's the thing, though. Let me tell you this, though. Please explain this to me, y'all. Where's the surveillance footage? Where's the surveillance footage? Let me see that, y'all. I want to see the surveillance footage. I don't give two damns about anything else except let me see the surveillance footage. Where was that phone bought? What store? Where in his hometown of Northport, Florida? And where's the surveillance footage, baby? Where's it at? Does that make sense? We're just going through the timeline. Tell me if this math is mathing. Okay. September 15th. Shoot. 15 days ago. Laundrie is officially named person of interest in Petito's case. September 17th. Laundrie's family attorney confirms his whereabouts. What whereabouts? Are unknown exactly. And that his parents last saw him September 14th. So the day that he bought the burner phone, he just skedaddled. How fitting. So you bought two burner phones. He had one for the plug and one for the dough. Like, why do you have two phones? What happened to the second phone, man? Why is the second phone now in the cop's possession? Was that his only way to get in contact with the family? Think about it. Maybe he was like, hey, I'm going to buy. I said skedaddled brandy beans. Yes, I did. But think about it. He went, bought a burner phone first. He bought one. He was like, just in case, man, just in case. And then he said, nah, dad, this is your phone, all right? You're going to use this. Anytime this phone rings, you pick it up. It's me. There's only one number in this phone. That's my theory. Straight up. Like we going back to Breaking Bad. This is the only number you got. Okay, Heisenberg? Okay, Jesse Pinkman? That's all you got. I'm going to call you, and that's it. So if this thing buzzes, that's my ass. Pick it up, mom and dad. Mom, Paul. That's the only reason why he has two. That's the only reason why he bought two phones. Okay? Whereabouts unknown. September 18th, Northport police and FBI start searching the Carton Reserve, which we've been dealing with and seeing so far, in Sarasota County for a missing Brian Laundrie. So he is still, like, literally, and to this day, he's still a person of interest revolving around the missing and now the homicide, allegedly, of Gabby Petito. So since the 15th, he has been a person of interest, not a suspect, nothing so far. September 19th, Bethune realizes she has the video of Petito's van around 12 a.m. and submits it to the FBI with the footage 10 minutes later. Officials find a body near Grand Teton National Park that matches Petito's description, a.k.a. allegedly, they could not ID her with her face. They had to ID her with her tattoos. September 21st, 2 days later, coroner confirms remains found in Grand Tetons belong to Petito. Her death is ruled a homicide, but her cause of death is still under investigation to this day. They have not said nothing. They've ruled it a homicide, but they still don't know how this poor woman passed. Or at least they know they haven't said anything to little old media people like myself. Okay, so jumping back a little bit, September 20th to the 22nd, FBI and Northport police continue the search for Laundrie in the Carton Reserve. September 22nd, neighbors say they saw the Laundrie's family pack up their detached camper, the brand new one they just got, on the day Gabby was reported missing. Now, of course, there's photos that show the camper was back in the driveway 2 days later on September 13th. September 23rd, we're moving on. FBI issues an arrest warrant for Laundrie for use of unauthorized access device. He is accused of fraudulently using a Capital One bank debit card that was not his between the August 30th and September 1st, and he spend $1,000. A probe is launched into the police handling of the Utah police incident on August 12th. Laundrie's parents Laundrie's parents visit their attorney in Orlando. Baloney lawyer. September 25th. There's still more. Dog the Bounty Hunter joins the search for Laundrie. 26th, there's a funeral held for Petito in Hallbrook, New York, and her family launched a charity to help parents find missing children, which shout out to the Petito family and the other family as well that put this whole charity together. Shout out to them because there's a lot of missing people out here that need to be found. Real talk. September 27th, manhunt for Laundrie in the Carlton Reserve. It is Carlton Reserve. Is scaled back after a 10-day search that does not find him. Dog the Bounty Hunter says Laundrie and his parents stayed at the Fort DeSoto Park from September 1st to the 3rd and September 6th through the 8th, and that on a later visit, only the parents left. And of course, we keep going. Here it is. I'm going to say this last piece. Of course, they have Laundrie's mom was accused of using a burner phone to connect with her son. Hey, why do you think she got 2 phones? Why do you think he bought 2 phones? So he could stay in contact with Mama Roberta. Straight up. Moving on, September 29th, the last piece of this puzzle, or the last piece of this timeline, documents reveal Laundrie's mother canceled a reservation for the Fort DeSoto Park campsite for 2 from September 1st to the 1st and booked for 3 on September 6th to the 8th. FBI seizes surveillance footage from the site. FBI investigates lead Laundrie bought a burner phone on September 14th, which we just talked about a second ago. Also, Dog the Bounty Hunter searches in the area near Fort DeSoto for Laundrie, flying a banner above the search site that reads "Aloha, Brian Laundrie." His team found a recovered can. These typos. Found a recovered can of Monster Energy Ultra Gold, which appeared to have been freshly drunk at a makeshift campsite deep in the woods at Shell Island along the coastline. So this is all what we have and what we know so far. I think the Daily Mail did a very good job at explaining it all and breaking it down for us. But this is what we know so far. These are the timelines that we know. And as much as everybody goes, no, he ain't over there, or there's no reason why Dog the Bounty Hunter should be looking in that general direction, there is most definitely a reason. Like I said again, he went, did the simple math, he did rudimentary work, and found this information. And he could very well be hot on his tail. Hot on the trail, catching this man. Straight up. Now, there's other timelines that are out here and all that. Let's keep it real. There's a lot of other timelines that are circulating around this ish, especially when it has to do with those 2 women that were murdered in Moab, Utah. I'm still doing some due diligence, doing some research around that as well. We are going to be talking about that very, very soon. but I want to get my timelines right, because here's the thing. A lot of people, there's so many rumors, so many conspiracies going out saying, oh, did Brian do that? Did Brian take their lives? Blah, 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 blah. Trust me, I understand that wonder, that fear, that concern, and all that. But I want to make sure that the timeline makes sense, and also that it goes with stuff that's going on over here with Brian and Gabby. Were they involved? Was Gabby there? There's so, if he was to do those things, if he did something as even more heinous, like taking these two young women's lives, was he there? And was she there? Maybe she knew more and she wanted to be out. She wanted nothing to do with that stuff. She didn't, or she was saying, I'm going to rat him out. You know, Brian, I'm going to rat you out. I can't believe what you did. I mean, I'm just saying, allegedly, those are all theories now, all theories. But like I said, I want to make sure that I have the timeline right so I can show to you guys, present it to you guys, so that we can actually really have an in-depth conversation about those things. But there it is, y'all. The Brian Laundrie home had over 46 911 calls. 46. And that was before the 11th of September, the day that young woman was reported missing. What do you think is going on? In my personal, I really think, and we've already said it a million times, but I think the family already knew. And I really do think that Roberta is playing lead. I think she was part of the mastermind. Because God forbid, not my baby. She don't want her baby thrown in the jail. No. She's going to go and do whatever she can to protect her son. It's all wrong. I definitely think that it's all wrong. The mother and the father should have done the right thing and turned their asses in. But at the same time, still what went down. But I guarantee you, here's the other thing. He's like, this is the other theory I had in my head. Honey, go buy a phone. In the next couple of days, you're going to buy another one at another place so that we can split it up. Like I said, speculation, theories up in this piece, but let's be real. We see the timeline. We see what's going on. He bought 2 burner phones. Guarantee you one of them was to get in contact and stay in contact with his parents without leaving a trace. Now the cops have that particular burner phone. They're looking at surveillance footage as well at the campsite. What I want them to do, what I'd love to see them do, is do their due diligence and look at the 2 separate AT&T stores that they bought those burner phones from, if they were even separate, and see if they see who actually bought the phones. But I keep saying, these mother-loving parents need to be thrown into jail with the quickness. They need to be catching a case right now, y'all, without hesitation. There should be no hesitation with this situation. These parents should be thrown under the damn jail. Catch them a case or 2 and let them squeal. Squeal like a damn pig. Real talk. That's what should be happening right now, in my personal opinion. But once again, I don't know what kind of red tape, what kind of stuff, what kind of paperwork these, what 5-0 has to do to bring them in. But that's the stuff that needs to start happening immediately. And the funny thing is that I'm working on bringing some lawyers onto the show because I want to get some personal opinions about why these parents haven't been thrown in, haven't been hit with a charge. They haven't caught a charge at all. Why are they dodging and still smelling the freedom error? Why? That's what I'd like to know. So anyway, guys, that is the show this evening. I appreciate all y'all for being on, being a part of the conversation. This is what we know so far. So far as we speak, it has been a very interesting day. Not a big, heavy amount of information so far, but we do have little bits. And of course, I do appreciate my brother, Bare Hands Baran, coming onto the show of Wildlife Command Center, chopping it up with us. Because you know what? I wanted to hear somebody who knows about the swamp. You know what I mean? Who knows about how to survive, if one can actually survive for a long time or not. So hopefully we were able to hopefully ease some people's minds. Actually, it doesn't really ease my mind because it makes me think, damn, he could still be there. Damn. You know what I mean? Crazy. D-Dubs, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Go back to the 46911 calls. Yes, 46911 calls from the residents or to the residents. Literally. What surrounded that? You see what I'm saying? What surrounded that? What made someone call 46 times? What made 46 individuals, let's just say, call 911 the day before Gabby Petito was filed as a missing person? Here's my theory. You know what? Oh my God. This is the other thing that just popped up in my head, and I'm killing the music like that because this is the show. Let me hear this. Let me say this, and this is going to be a crazy theory, okay? But here it is. Hell hath no fury like a parent who doesn't know where their kids are. What are the possibilities? What are the possibilities that the parents, the Petito family, went up to their front door and demanded to speak to Brian? What if there was a little fisticuffs? What if there was a little tussle? I'm just speculating, guys. This is all alleged, but let's speculate. You have 46 phone 911 calls that were made the day before the family decided to file a missing persons on Gabby Petito. 46 phone calls, 911 to the residents. You don't think that maybe a tiny bit had to do with the fam? The fam bam going up to the lawn and saying, "Where's my kid at?" Think about it. What are the chances? What are the chances, y'all? Let's keep it straight funky. If this was my child, man, I don't even have a kid. But I'm saying, if I had a kid and this was my child, man, I'd drive that car straight through the front of the house. There'd be 1,046 phone 911 calls to that house. I'd be catching cases because of what I'd be doing to that fam. You feel me? If you were the father, you were the mother, you were the stepfather, and you're trying to find where your child is, maybe. I know my analysis could be off. You know what I mean? I ain't perfect. I'm still a man, Roke. Arona. I'm a man. I'm a human. That's all it is. My theory could be completely off, but let me point that out. Why 46 911 calls that day? That's some serious-ish. Something big must have gone down. Period. Period, y'all. So, like I said, my theory could be completely wrong. And that's fine. The only people that know the truth right now are the Petito family and the Laundrie family. And guess what? The person that knows a whole lot, Brian Laundrie. And until he is out speaking on his truth, we're going to speculate. Quizmatics, you ain't wrong. You ain't wrong. Your guess is as good as mine. Facts. Yeah. Like I said, it could have been anything. Like I said, it could have been him. Brian Laundrie losing his damn mind too. You never know, babies. 46 times though, that's a lot. What makes somebody call 46 times? Something must have gone down. Or here's another theory. Let's just play it out real quick before I go. And by the way, before I give you my theory, my one last final theory, hit that like button down below. Please, please, please hit that like button down below and most definitely crush that subscribe button. That would really, really mean a lot. Okay, guys, thank you so very much. All right. Jazzy Hanson, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. She says 911 was called because Gabby's dad showed up on the 10th and found the van. You know what? That's a very good theory. I also thought that maybe people were starting to show up on their front lawn to protest, to demand information. I'm just saying, like I said, I don't know that timeline. I don't know when people started showing up, the story, when the story really came out like that. You feel me? When everybody was catching wind, when it became a mainstream story. All I know is that as soon as it was filed as missing, we were already on top of this story and about to talk about it. You know, we knew it. We were seeing it in the periphery. But as far as the neighborhood, maybe they knew some ish. Like I said, maybe they caught wind about all this stuff and people started showing up, and all of a sudden the Petito family's picking up their phone going, "There's people outside our house, please." I'm just saying, that could be a theory too. Or maybe it's a combination of both. You never, ever know. Like I said, you saw how big that Daddy Petito was. That mother lover was a big old Popeye chicken eating mother lover. That dude is big, okay? You know for a fact he's been in a couple tussles in his damn life. I would not be surprised if he went right up to that that screen door and rapped it so hard, knocked on that so hard, the whole house shook from its very foundation. I guarantee you that. So that's just a theory. Okay? So, anyway, if you enjoyed the conversation today, guys, please, one last time, hit that like button down below. Please, 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 most definitely crush that subscribe button. I'm telling you, we are going to be covering this and following this as much as we can. Okay, there are other stories that we do cover on this show, but please crush that subscribe button. Okay, crush it. Be a part of the Pascal Show family. And if you are interested in supporting this channel, there's a join button down below. Please crush that join button. It's only $4.99 a month. It helps us fuel this show so we can keep giving you your stories of the day. Also, I do have one more thing. I do have a Patreon. A lot of behind the scenes going on over there. So please hit that Patreon. All right, go check it out. Patreon.com/The Pascal Show. It'd be really great to have your support. Please support this little channel that would really, really mean a lot. One last thing too. I know there's a lot of asks, but I'm going to say it anyway. Go follow me on Instagram, The Pascal Show, one word. Or if you're on Twitter, go follow me on Twitter, The Pascal Show, one word. We are sharing and putting up stuff about Gabby Petito and a lot of other stories on the Twitter and Instagram page. So please go support, follow, consume, be a part of the movement, be a part of the experience called The Pascal Show. Anyways, time to get going. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. And I'll see you guys very, very soon. All right? Stay blessed. And please stay safe out there, guys. And if I don't see you guys tomorrow, have a safe and wonderful weekend. I got a big interview coming out tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time with Larry Reed live. So tune in to that show. Anyway, I'll see you guys soon. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.